Hey, welcome everybody. Joined by Mark Mawhinney, and we have two videos. The one below this is on monetizing your email list, but we want to first show you and share some ideas on how to grow your email list. And Mark will give a little context into how big his list is and how often he emails and how he's kind of gotten to that point. So I'll let Mark kind of take it away and walk you through how he grows his email list.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. And I guess I'll say we'll keep it pretty casual. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Pop in. It's going to be a quick training. But yeah, so anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Mark Mawhinney. I'm a big fan of email marketing. So I'm in the coaching world. And I've emailed since 2014, but I've been doing daily emails since 2016. The reason Adam asked me to do this one is email marketing only works if you have people on your email list. Yeah, common sense. Um, so this is an area that I see a lot of people in the online space really struggling with because it's not super encouraging to send consistent emails if you have 17 people on your list and 10 of them are your family, your mom, your neighbors, your uncle, or whatever. So that being said, you don't need an enormous list. Full disclosure, at time of recording, I'm at roughly 5,000 on my list, which it's a decent size, but it's by no means a huge list. You know, I've talked to a lot of people that have 20,000 or so. My list, because as I mentioned, I've been emailing it daily since 2016, that keeps it trimmed somewhat because a lot of people, if they're not resonating with me or whatever, oh Jesus, smart guys in my inbox every day, then they're going to leave, and that's fine. I'd rather them leave than just stay in there. It helps with having an engaged list. So I could have probably a 10 or 15,000 person list at this time if I wasn't emailing daily, but then my list probably wouldn't be as profitable. So yeah, so we're going to talk about growing your email list. I'm going to share a couple strategies for that as well. Why do you need an email list? Well, there's a few big reasons here. First off, you own your list. So the problem with social media, you could go to log into Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever one day and your account's gone. It's like, oh, geez, what happened? Did I tick off Mark Zuckerberg? Maybe he didn't like a joke or whatever. And I have heard horror stories. I'm sure, Adam, you've heard horror stories as well from that.
Hmm.
LinkedIn, I know you're big on LinkedIn, and I've heard stories of people who have assistants around the world who are in their inbox sending messages and stuff, and then that triggers something and goes against LinkedIn's terms of service. So your email list, you own it, and I recommend doing a backup at least every few months, ideally once a month. You can just a click of the button get that backup in case something ever happens. You still have that list. So you own the list. It's less noisy than social media. The problem with social media is you're at the mercy of the algorithms, and they could change. They have changed in recent years. Um, Facebook today is much different than 2014 when I started in terms of reach for posts, for example. I'm not a big TikTok guy. I don't know if you are, Adam. I don't like dancing around,
I watch.
lip
I don't.
syncing and stuff. I'm not twerking on TikTok or anything, but I have talked to people who were killing it on TikTok back in 21, 2022, because it was of course on that platform that people don't have to follow you to see you on their For You page or FYP page. And from what I've heard from people who use it, it's gotten significantly throttled versus a couple years ago. And that's just social media. So with an email list, you're directly in their inbox. You're not competing with all the sea of noise that's on their news feed, ads, everything else. You are in their inbox and you have their undivided attention for a couple minutes while they're reading your email. And then, of course, money. You know, I'm a big believer with business. Don't do anything unless you're getting an ROI from it. So if you're not getting an ROI from that activity, stop doing it or figure out how to do it to get an ROI. And with email, the stat that's thrown around often is for every subscriber should be worth $1 a month for your list. So if you have an email list of 2,000 people, that should be $2,000 a month. Now, really good email marketers can actually do better than that. You know, it wouldn't be uncommon to be making $3, $4, $5 per subscriber. But that's pretty good when you think about it. So there's a couple reasons why I'm big on email. So I'll give some important reminders here. First off, you want to choose an email service provider that you like. if you don't like how it's set up, if it's hard to understand or it's clunky, you're not going to feel like sending emails or growing that list. So for me, I use Aweber, and I've used them for since 2011, or sorry, 2014. So we're over 11 years now, and it's not fancy at all, but I kind of like that. It gets the job done. It's not super complicated, and yeah, whatever you choose, make sure it's one that you actually like to log in and use. I put in bold caps, do not add people to your list without their consent. So what you don't want to do is, I see this happening on LinkedIn all the time. I'm added to a list I'm not even, never opted into. Maybe we're connected on LinkedIn and they just took my email and dumped it onto their list. And that's a good way to, well, get spam complaints, but also ruin a lot of your reputation, potential relationships, or so on. So it's much better to have a smaller list that's grown organically and truthfully, as opposed to just dumping people onto your list. So I think that's very important to mention.
Question for you, Mark. So on that, so I get added to a ton of lists, right?
Yeah,
And when I hit unsubscribe, and then I never asked to be put on this list, as you know, they have those options like,
yeah,
why, give us a reason. I'm guessing that hurts their
yeah, yeah.
account.
It is, and I don't understand why people do it, because it's very rare that someone says, "Oh, this person added me to their list without my consent," but oh, I'd love to work with them or buy from them. But yeah, you can report spam, and if your ESP gets enough of those complaints, then that's going to affect things with deliverability or so on. Because like, well, this guy's spamming people,
Yeah,
which is
got it.
good. At the end of the day, some marketers might gripe about this, but as a consumer, we appreciate these type of things. Because then there's other tricks too. There's some companies, individuals that spam that you have to input it'll say, if you want to unsubscribe from the list, put your email in here when you click the link, and then they're fishing to see which emails are still active, and there's real people there. So it's a shady world. But
Yep.
anyways, yeah, don't add people without their consent. And then list growth, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So if you start your list and you don't have a couple thousand people next week, don't worry. It's just it takes time to add people or to grow your list and to get people interested. So I will share a few ways that we can accelerate that growth. But I'm not going to promise, oh yeah, you're going to have 20,000 people in a month. That's very difficult without a lot of ad spend and other things, of course. So here's 3 ways to grow the list. And by the way, I'm going to share a bonus at the end of this training for your people, Adam. I have a hidden link, so I'll share that for you as well. So first off is to give away a free resource. I put in brackets lead magnet. Never call it a lead magnet to the person. Like if I didn't know you, Adam, I'd be like, hey, would you like my lead magnet, Adam? You don't want to feel like a lead, right? So that's kind of inside baseball, behind closed doors, as us talking here, and for sharing this with your people. It's lead magnets, what I say when I'm coaching people and we're working through things, but publicly I never say, hey, grab my lead magnet here. It's a free resource, free gift, etc. So gone are the days, and you probably remember this because you've been around for quite a while, Adam, but you used to see more people be able to get away with on their website, like sign up for my free newsletter, right? And they would
Right.
get some opt-ins that way. Nowadays, people are skeptical online, but they don't know you, so it's like a newsletter is not terribly exciting to get mailed stuff. What you want to do instead, I know that the word bribe has a negative connotation, but you're really bribing them. You're giving them something of value in exchange for them giving you their email address.
Hmm.
So it really is a bribe, if you look at it that way. So this is my current site now. This is in the process of being changed and swapped out. So this could be different if someone looks down the road after watching this. But right now, my lead magnet, my resource, is a $97 issue of my Secret Coach Club newsletter, which I actually sold for 97 bucks. So that's not a made up. Well, some people like, get this resource, $10,000 value, and they just pull a number out of the air. That actually sold to subscribers for $97. So that's the current one. Now you'll see it's at the top of my page. And also, if you were to go to the page, there would be a pop up as well, inviting you to grab this resource. You want to make sure that your email opt-in is what we call above the fold, and that means that people can see it when they immediately go to the website. They don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom. And I see this a lot with coaches in my world, but online entrepreneurs where their opt-in is hidden down way down on the page, and people just
Hmm.
probably aren't going to find it. So you really want
Right.
to make sure that they're seeing that. Now you could do some other things, but I will say this because I've talked with people that have experimented. If some people ask for first and last name and email, that's going to lower your opt-in rate there because you're asking for more information. Some people ask for a phone number on things, and that's going to really hurt what you're doing. So just keep in mind, the more that you ask for, it will lower your opt-in percentages there as well. Yeah, so you could put up a post on social media, something simple like this, just created a brand new guide, shows how you can get 3 new coaching clients in the next 72 hours without sending any cold messages to strangers, links in the comments. Or you
What's
could,
wrong with sending cold messages to strangers, Mark? That's what we do.
and all the power to people who enjoy that and are good at it. Me personally, it's not my favorite thing in the world to do, and a lot of people in my world don't want to do it. But I'm not shaming. You know what? If you enjoy it, it works great. We'll strike that slide here.
You're
I just said,
right.
or you can say comment, and then a keyword like this, like comment guide below if you want it. So I will say don't expect to put one post up on social media and then you get hundreds of people jumping in, depending on your following. But I always recommend to my clients that they do it a number of times consistently in case people are going to be missing it, right?
Hmm.
So you want to make sure that they're seeing it. Don't expect, oh yeah, put up one post, I'm going to get a ton of people. So that's the first tip is with lead magnets or resources. The next one is being interviewed on podcasts and summits. So whenever I'm on a podcast and then it's released, I can usually tell that, oh, a show must have been released because I see an uptick in opt-ins like higher than usual with my email. Summits are more powerful. Anyone who doesn't know, I mean, there's different ways to do it, but usually a summit, there's a host that creates a summit. It's based on a certain topic. And then he or she gathers, could be 10, 20 speakers, and they all come together. They usually have to have a minimum list size and agree to email their lists, but it's to grow everyone's list. So if you have 20
Hmm.
people with a minimum 5,000 person list, well, there's 100,000 people that you're going to get a number of the other people's email subscribers over to your list. So
Yep.
summits are, I find, a really powerful way to do it. I have you could either host a summit, which would help you. That's a lot of work. I don't know if you've ever hosted a summit. I did one in 2015. I said, I don't know if I'll be doing this again. It was like herding cats, like, it was a lot of work with it. But yeah, I mean, summits, what I do find nowadays is working for summits, if you're looking to host, is back when I did my summit, I think I did either 21 guests, I did like a 3 weeks daily released, or it might even been 30. It was like a long one. People's attention spans are less now. So I'm seeing people who are doing shorter summits, like it might be like a 5-day summit or so there, because in the past, that's asking a lot. If somebody, okay, it's a 21-day summit, are they going to be listening to all of them by day 17, 18, 19? Hard to say. But yeah,
Yep.
podcasts and summits, you could offer that resource when you're participating in that, and then you get opt-ins that way. And then the other way, which is big for me, and this is probably the best way for me to grow my email list, is with community. And my community's Facebook group is a coaching jungle. I opened it back in 2015, and we've got almost 30,000 people in there. Now, with Facebook groups, you can ask questions when people are requesting to join the group. The number one question here is, would you like to get free daily email advice from Mark Mooney to grow your coaching business? If so, what's your, and this is important, best email address? You don't want them to use an old Hotmail, Yahoo one from when they were 16 years old and they never check it. That's not going to do any good. So we say, what's your best email address? And it's not like everyone requesting to join the group leaves it, but I would say we're averaging, we're pretty picky with, we turn away a fair number of people if they're not the right fit, but we're accepting 10 to 15 usually people a day. And then out of, let's say, 10, I would guess 3 or 4 are going to join the email list. Sometimes it might be a little bit more. So that's probably the best. Every time somebody puts in their email, my group admin are putting it on a Google sheet, and then we're uploading it to my Aweber. And there's other apps you could do that could do it automatically. Right now, we kind of do an extra step there, but I do think it's important if you have a Facebook group to use that group to grow your email list. Yeah. Any questions so far, Adam?
No, no, it's good.
Oh, good. Okay. So, like I
Yeah,
mentioned,
I
yeah,
do
go
have
ahead.
one question. Do you have like if someone's like, what should I create for a lead magnet?
Yeah,
How did you determine what to use?
it's
And have you tested different things?
well, it's great timing because that's a segue into the bonus. It'll be able to help
Perfect.
with this.
I
But I
didn't even
will
know.
say,
Okay.
before I mention, yeah, you read my mind. But before I mention the bonus, I will say a few things. Is you want to put yourself in the subscriber or potential subscriber's shoes. So you think, okay, what is something that's valuable? And I'm not saying give away the farm. You don't take a year creating something. Like back in the day, ebooks used to be a popular email lead magnet,
Hmm.
and that's a lot of pressure to say, okay, write a 300-page ebook and then use that, and people probably won't read it. It'll collect virtual dust. So you want to put yourself in their shoes and think, okay, if I were them, would this be enough to entice me to opt into their list? But the
Hmm.
bonus I was mentioning is I've set up a link for it. I have a program the Natural Born Coach program, and in there's a module that's on lead magnets and so on. And I'm sprinkling in expert interviews, and there's 3 experts in particular who I thought would be great for your people to check out. Super short interviews are like 15 minutes each, so it's not going to take long. But I had Nicola Karen Cross, Regina Andler, and then Regina Gulbinas, who all were, so there's 2 Reginas who were interviewed. And the reason I like those, Nicola and Regina, one just showed how to use AI to come up with ideas for your lead magnet, which are very practical, like prompts, and they have some tools that they shared and so on. But Regina, number 2, hers was how to create a high value lead magnet, which was really excellent. Like we dove in deep there as well. So there's a lot more that I can um, I guess teach in those interviews. You'd get a lot more from it. But yeah, I would encourage you guys to do it. This is a hidden link. It's not advertised anywhere. I just set it up for your people.
Awesome. Love it. Appreciate that. I'll have to watch those because it's always good to have creative ideas on how to grow the email list. So, yeah, that's good stuff. So, I mean, the most important thing is getting started, right? And have something. Even I'm sure your list started with 0. And how many subscribers? Like, what was kind of the ramp up? Like, were you adding one a day? 20 a month? Like, at what point do you see kind of the growth?
I think it's interesting question. My email list growth has been tied in very much to the Facebook group growth. And
Okay.
so with the coaching jungle, it really started to take off once we got to 1,000 members in the coaching jungle. Then it started to really snowball because Facebook was recommending the group to others. But as the group grew bigger, like I mentioned, it's been a big part of growing the list. I don't know if there's a magic number or length of time with it, but I would say with mine that the first 1,000 I think is the hardest for email as well. By the way, I think once you get to that, you're starting to get rolling. But I talk to a lot of people that are kind of stuck in that 300 range, 400
Hmm.
subscribers. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. There's people who have small lists that do very well with it. So it's not like you need a million people, but you want to have more chances. Like the lottery, if you buy more tickets, you're gonna have a greater chance of winning some prizes there. So yeah, I would in the early stages, even if because I know what happens often is that people say, "Oh, geez, I got to create a lead magnet," then they get stuck in the mud with that for like a month or 2 months. You could just reach out to people that who are your supporters or people you've worked with in the past or whatever, and it could be like, hey, look, I'm going to be sending out valuable emails, sharing my thoughts, stuff that you're not going to see on social media. Would you like to be added to my list? There's no pressure. You don't have to stay on there. You can unsubscribe whenever, but would love to have you on there. And you could just grow it that way just to get started in those early stages.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for popping on again, and make sure you guys watch the second video below on how to monetize your list. And maybe we'll come up with something else we can do for a training, Mark. So thanks for your time, and I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
See ya.